But now we'll move on to the thing that you and I think, are most excited to talk about. The
Yes.
thing that I think will probably fill out the next 30 plus minutes because
Yeah.
it is something that we are quite passionate about, and that is Halo Infinite.
Yes.
Uh,
Halo Infinite. Wow.
yeah.
Just saying it makes me happy and cringe at the same time.
So we're streamers, BB&J and I, and we each have a respective Discord. And in the Discord, in my Discord, there was a conversation about Halo that kind of, I won't lie, it took me by surprise. And I'm gonna throw to you to give us the statistics in a moment, but there's some very avid Halo fans in our community. Really, really, like, I would say almost diehard Halo fans in our community. And to read what they were saying, sort of the disappointment in their voice and overall in how Halo Infinite has been, I will say is kind of surprising. Because Halo Infinite sort of they surprise released the multiplayer, and that became a whole thing in the Discord
Oh
where
gosh,
we
yeah,
were
that was
playing. Yeah, exactly. It was an
it was. I
event.
mean, I won't lie, it was epic. It was
Yeah,
pretty epic.
yeah.
Everyone was. It kind of felt like when you were watching E3 or something, right? Back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Now that E3's been like kind of hasn't been a thing for a while, right?
Yeah.
But it was almost like that where you were like, oh my gosh, what are they gonna announce? What are they gonna announce?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And like I still remember everyone like in the chat and we were all just kind of like, you think they're gonna announce Halo Infinite really multiplayer, right? Everyone was cheesing and everything. It was so cool, and they finally announced it. And that since that day, it was like the most epic thing that
Yeah.
I feel like the Discord there, right? That
Yeah.
how everyone came together and was like, let's play this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there were people who were working, day jobs, office jobs, who sort of like suddenly the productivity went.
So it was like, oh yeah, actually,
Yeah.
yeah, I just got off
Yeah,
work. Like, wait, what?
yeah.
Didn't you just get work?
It's 10 a.m. How did you just get off of work? I was like, calling their boss, like, I can't come in
Yeah.
today. I can't work today. So it was really an epic happening. It was a sort of a community event. It was spontaneous too, because somebody posted in the Discord, and then people were like, "Oh, is it a thing?" And then we opened up the Twitch channel because it was streaming on Twitch, and it was kind of like rumors were abound that they would that they were going to release the multiplayer. And then they did, and then like people were like, "Can I download it?" I got on Game Pass, I got on Steam. I can't download it. And then we got through that, and people were downloading it, and it was just wrecking sleep schedules. People were playing. It was a
Ooh.
whole thing.
Don't
I,
even remind me, man. Don't even remind. I think I went like 3-4 days without like actually getting sleep.
yeah, I remember, and it became kind of a joke of the Uno Mas. One more game, one more Uno Mas is Spanish for one more. So we would just be playing a game, and you would start at like 9:30 in the evening, and before you realize it's 3 a.m. and you've been playing for a while, and you're like, oh god, I gotta go to sleep, but Uno Mas, and then
But
that
Uno
turns
Mas.
that turns into you can't end on a loss, that kind of thing, and alcohol gets involved, and then just people start. It just becomes such this community thing. So Halo, that part of the Halo Infinite story was my favorite. That release in early November to like early December. That
It almost
month
felt like a midnight release where
exactly.
it was like, oh my gosh, everybody get on, like on Halo, and it was a good time.
It was, and then the campaign release. Now I have not played the campaign. I don't know. I can't speak to its quality. I want to put that out there right now. I can't speak to its quality. I don't know the campaign. I'm waiting for the co-op to come out, which is something that I'm going to get into. I'm going to throw to BB and give statistics, but I'm going to throw into the a la carte release of it that kind of
Yeah,
annoys
pretty
me a
much.
little bit. And so I don't know anything about the campaign. But when it released, I feel like it broke so many things. And the hype and the intrigue of it seemed to go down. And now you were looking at some of the Steam charts. Now of course Steam charts is just one platform. It doesn't count for
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
overall thing people are
Yeah,
playing
the
it on
overall.
Xbox and other things.
Yeah.
But you have some
But I think it's
statistics.
I think it's pretty important because I mean, there's a lot of people who love using Steam, right?
Yep.
Especially if you're a PC player, right?
Yeah.
So we have an all-time peak here of 269,176 all time
Right.
for players on November 16th,
Right.
2021.
Right.
And that was what, I guess the first or second day it was released, maybe, or
That's
maybe it was
a
the
week.
first day.
Was it not a week? Because we did the Halo tournament that Saturday after it released.
Oh yeah.
So that Saturday was the 17th or whatever. So I think it was like within a week of release. It wasn't too long after release, but it was within
Yeah.
a week of release, and that's expected. That's so I don't think anybody would expect it to keep that number.
Exactly. Yeah. And then as the months kind of started going, right, we had, it's literally a steady decline. Like, it went from that all the way down to, on the 22nd, it went down to 169,000.
Right.
Then it went back up. I'm assuming somewhere around that we had like an update,
I think the campaign,
or maybe
release.
the event, or okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So it went back up to 213,000, right?
Right.
And then it went all, and then it just keeps going down. And then the last time it was kind of like at a peak, it was 146,000 on December 8th.
Okay.
And I believe there was the events, those events were happening.
It's the Fiesta,
right?
I think, something like that.
And then from there, it just slowly declined till now, which is the player base, and that's at 13,825.
Now, I want to preface by saying, obviously, the peaks are the peaks, right? Like, that's the highest you're going to get. Nobody expects it to stay at that 200,000 mark, right?
Yeah,
Nobody.
of course.
That's not sustainable. But when you read to me that the current player base is in 13,000, that made me really shocked. But then when you told me what its peak was, that made me even more shocked. Because, like, if you just said, oh, its peak was like, 50,000, and now it's at 13,000. It's like, all right,
it makes sense.
Yeah, that's the typical slippage you'd expect. But you're talking about over 200,000 people that were playing at its second peak when the campaign released.
Yeah.
Have stopped. 200,000 people at one point played Halo Infinite and stopped for one reason or the other. And I think, to borrow a quote from somebody who was in the Discord, I think they put it, paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact quote, but I just want this game to be good. It can be so good, but it just doesn't want to be. Like, I just want this game to be good. And I think reading that, because like even I loved Halo Infinite, but my interest kind of tapered off. It's just like, I don't really feel like playing it anymore. And I think because it came out a la carte, because it came out in pieces, because while multiplayer is fun, I like the multiplayer. I can't do that all day. I don't care to grind. I don't care for the battle pass. I don't care for these things. So right now, that's all I can do because I co-stream Halo with Sir Grexy, and we both agreed that we're going to go into the campaign blind together. We can't do that. The game did not release with a co-op. Like,
I mean, can you believe it's Halo?
I can't believe this is a AAA game. Like, the game did not... think about that. It didn't release with a co-op. It didn't release... It released the multiplayer first. Now, I understand that it released it first and free so it could charge a battle pass and it's separate. Okay, if that's your business model, fine. But its full game at $60 was not complete.
No. Yeah.
It released in pieces. That is not how you do it. Like, I can't believe... okay, I liked Halo Infinite, so I kind of let it go. But when I think about it, it makes me... it drives me insane. How is this a AAA game? How is this a game... I
totally understand.
Right. How is this... Forge, which is one of the multiplayer components to it, is not releasing until God knows when. And the multiplayer component, maybe May. Maybe, if we're lucky. It blows my brain that that's accepted and okay. And no wonder 200,000 people have said, nah, I'm good. I'm not... I don't know that they'll ever get those people back. You'll get some...
I don't know. I was thinking about that, right? When I was like, okay, well, maybe we'll see a peak, a bigger peak when co-op releases, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But to the extent of where we were, I don't think so. Because that's the thing is, like, once you leave a game, it's really hard to get back into it. Unless it's like they had, changed something massive, right?
Right.
Because here you're thinking, okay, it's co-op. Okay, if you play the campaign already, right? Especially if you play the campaign, then you're just kind of like, well, I play the campaign.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's like, okay, now they added co-op. Well, do I really want to play the campaign again after, more than 6 months, right? I don't know. If you're a hardcore fan and maybe you want to, like in your case, right?
Yeah.
You're waiting for it.
Yeah.
To play with Greki, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you'll get that specific player base back, right? That actually want to play the game together.
Right.
But if you're someone who's already done all these things, you probably won't come back for that.
Well, how many people can come back? Like, how many people are in that slice of pie, right? Like, I know I'm not the only one, right? I know I'm not the only one that's waiting for co-op. There are people, there are duos out there. So you're going to get maybe, I would say, generously, and you could put this down, mark it down, note it. It's on video. I think the next peak, you're going to get 46,000. That's the highest it's going to get. You're going to get 46,000 because that's what's left. Because this game, as much as I love Halo Infinite, and I love the gameplay of it, I don't know the story. Maybe the story's going to piss me off something fierce. I can't speak to it.
Yeah.
But I love the gameplay, but it's just infuriating that this was how they decided to do things. They delayed a year for this. Yeah. How much longer does it take to make co-op? Now, I understand that there's no save. Like, you can't just start at a mission or start at a checkpoint. Like, you can't... From what I understand, you just continue.
Yeah. Right.
What is that? This is not...
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff they were talking about how it was like they didn't want to make it too easy to spawn, but also not too hard. And I was like, what? Like, just spawn them. Like,
this is...
You know, and I can't speak for that because, I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a developer. I don't know the crazy stuff behind it. But, like, they're veterans with co-op. Like... That's their whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's their main thing. Like, co-op is Halo. So it's crazy to see that they had difficulties with that. It makes me sorry. It just makes me think, like, what someone had said in our community had said that, where it was like, I wonder, like, I really do wonder what Halo would have been like if it was never delayed.
Halo Punk 2077.
Yeah, I just want to know, like, I wanted to know, like, what were they gonna give us, you know, for that. And with them delaying it, like, in the beginning, someone else had said this in the community, and they were saying that the issues were always there when the game released.
Yeah,
the issues were always there.
Yeah.
The problem is that it was masked by having fun with your friends. That's literally what I think someone had said it in chat. I know someone said it in chat, but I can't remember who it was. But
yeah,
shout out to you if you know or you said that, because that's literally so true.
Yeah.
I had so much fun. Even with all the broken stuff, I had so much fun playing the game when it released. But then slowly, as you start to get downtime, not everyone can play at the same time, right? And you start to look at the actual model of the game. You start to look at the glitches, the battle pass, the leveling up in the XP, how much things cost in the store, right?
It's a ripoff. It's highway robbery.
And I mean, you know, you gotta, like, the devs are trying their best to be you know, to talk with the community and everything and trying to fix. I mean, they recently just lowered the prices on there, right? But, like, a lot of these things happen in the beginning. That's where it counts, right? I mean, like, that's why we're at 13K right now, you know?
The thing that I'll say is, yeah, we were having fun with friends. Like, we were playing a lot together. But how many times? You were there and I was there. How many times is everybody like, getting connection, Alt F4 and restart? How many times did that happen in the initial, you know, but you're so excited to play that you're just like, I'll put up with it. But it's like...
Exactly.
Like, okay, I understand that there's gonna be some bugs with games. Like, I understand the nature of games as they get more complex, the hardware gets, you know, more... Whatever. There's gonna happen. I allow for some. Like, I will allow for some bugs, connection issues, whatever. But they tried to reinvent the wheel. Halo is not an MMO. Halo is not a live service game. Yeah. Halo is not some freaking 10-year plan. Let's try to be Destiny. No. Stop it. It is not. That's not what Halo is. There is literally 5 to 6 games. I think 6 if you count Reach. There's 6 games before this Halo that will tell you that's not what Halo is. Halo is just a shooter. You go, you co-op with a buddy, you shoot, or you do it yourself, but you get levels, stages, and you, like, this isn't this thing where, like, let's try to be like everybody else. Stop! Stop trying to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
It's what infuriates me. And now you've released a broken game in pieces. You were streaming the campaign, right? And obviously, no spoilers. And please, if anybody is in the comments, please don't spoil. I've not seen the campaign. I don't want to see anything. But you were streaming the campaign, and you stopped streaming the campaign.
Yeah.
Like,
I just had too many issues with optimization. Like, it's just not. It wasn't. It just wasn't optimized. Like, and now you could say maybe it's my fault, technical issues, right? Or maybe my PC can't handle it, or whatever the case is, right? But like, I mean, it's still not an excuse for it not to function properly. They had current patches to fix certain things in the campaign as well. Yeah. So. You're right. You just got to that point where you're just kind of like, that was me. In my case, because of the issues I was having, I was like, I'll just either play this whenever there's a patch or something that optimizes it a lot better, or I'll just play this on my own, right?
And that's how you get to 13,000 current players.
And yeah, exactly.
That's how you...
And the thing is too, is like, what I was seeing in how the game was released and everything, like, it's just crazy the way that they've done this new business plan, right? Or like their whole like battle pass thing, right? I remember that they were talking about a long time ago, where they were like saying that most of the battle pass items, or not necessarily battle pass items, but most of the customization was unlocked through in-game.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
In-game and all this, right? And then they were saying how you can be your own Spartan and everything. It is not like that. It is literally like you have to go in and get certain like the color palettes don't pertain to every Spartan or every armor core, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to go and get the same color palette for your other armor sets. Or you have to pay for this, and it's only for this specific. Like, where you know what's crazy to me? Reach had a great customization options, right? But to me is, how do you go from MCC right to this? Because that's literally their last game. If you want to, quote unquote, game, is MCC. That's what they were working on for a long time, and they were trying to optimize it, and it's great.
Yeah,
MCC is actually great. I like the way they did everything. I like the way you unlock stuff. I like the challenges that actually reward you the right way. Yeah. And you get to decide, I wanted this for my Spartan. Yeah. Not, and it's just crazy the switch they went from MCC to Infinite.
And I mean MCC, the PC port, like I love it. Like I just want to say one of the things. I just want to paint a picture for everybody, and anybody who's going to tell me. And I don't think that there's going to be many people, but just in case, is anybody is going to be like, "Well, it's not that bad because X, Y, Z." I want to paint a picture for everybody. Imagine, I tell you before Halo Infinite released, right? Imagine I tell you, guess what the next Battlefield, guess what the next Call of Duty is going to do, guess what the next Star Wars Battlefront is going to do. They're going to give you the multiplayer broken, busted, and uneven battle pass system that if you don't buy it, you could unlock things, but you can't use them because that's what happened to me. I unlocked almost everything, but I can't use it because I don't have a battle pass. Then, a month later, they're going to release the campaign. That's going to break the multiplayer in some respects. But co-op, no. Wait. Co-op is coming even later at an unknown date. If this was EA, if this was Activision, if this was Bethesda, people would be burning them at the stake. 343 is escaping, I think, culpability here. Because this is, as much as I love Halo Infinite, and it sounds like I do love Halo Infinite from what I've played of it, this is not how you do it. And talking about like the gaming culture writ large at the start of the episode, I hope this isn't the thing going forward. I hope going forward other companies aren't like, well, I could give them breadcrumbs little by little and just, release a busted, broken battle pass system that, I'm sorry, it's not, like Apex Legends to me, yeah, you can make fun of Apex Legends, sure, fine, whatever. I played Apex Legends a lot in 2019. I did not spend a single dime in Apex Legends, and I unlocked all the legends. I unlocked the skins. Sure, I had to play longer, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Do it that way.
Exactly.
Do it that way where
you're exactly right.
you're encouraging
exactly right,
you're encouraging speed, but not locking things away. Like we have a friend, Fletman, who's I think who I look at as like Mr. Halo, right? And even he was like, when that samurai. This was early on. There was like a samurai armor set. You unlock the samurai armor set by doing the event. I did that, but you can't change the color, so it's the basic. It's basic color, and then the sword that's like what everybody really wanted, $20 for a sword. For a sword, $20.
That you just put on your armor. That's it.
It serves no in-game functionality. Thank God it doesn't serve in-game functionality. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Could you imagine paying $20 for a sword that's like
sword just come and slice it through people?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a free-to-play model, right? But there's so many other models that are a lot better than this one, Especially like the way the time it takes for you to like unlock shit. Well, if you can even use it, right? If you don't have a battle pass, but but yeah, you're right. It does take you so long to like level up. I mean, maybe a little bit less now because they have done updates. We can't deny they have done updates.
They've
right?
listened.
They have done updates. They are listening. They are trying to actively be there for the community and the gamers. But it's a long road, is what it is.
I'll give them credit for where credit is due. When the game first came out, people were kind of like, they didn't like the XP, the way it was being doled out. And they listened and they tweaked it. I'll give them all the credit in the world for that. Bravo. They do listen to the community. But also one thing, let's not kid ourselves here. When the game released, they didn't have a free-for-all mode. You couldn't, like...
They didn't have playlists.
Even the first thing that they released, the multiplayer that was supposed to be free, and the first thing to get people, even that wasn't complete. That wasn't even done. So, like, while I want to give them credit and I want to praise them for what they've done, they've been half-baked from the start, and it's because they tried to reinvent the wheel. I guarantee you, had they just released the traditional Halo in the traditional way, we would have been having a different conversation.
Yeah, they wanted to do the next generation Halo is pretty much, like when you were talking about the 10-year model. That's what their vision is like, how do we make this into Destiny?
Stop.
Right? Where it's like, I know exactly that like, I just feel like Halo wasn't meant for that, right? It already had its tradition, which was just, you get to play and have fun and everything works. Everything is, just enjoyable, right? Not this like, oh, I'm gonna go grind, and then you grind and when you're finished grinding, you've unlocked nothing, or if anything, one item. Like it's really
Halo 1 released in 2001. That's 21 years ago. If you were born the day Halo was released, okay, not yet technically, but if you were born a few months before Halo 1 was released, you could probably drink, right, in America, because you're 21. Its campaign was a thing of beauty. Its campaign was chef's kiss. Halo 3, which was released 6 years later, so it's what now, 15 years ago? That's multiplayer. Halo 3 multiplayer to me is the standard.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
so,
for sure. For sure.
The blueprints were there, is why I get so upset. The blueprints for a great Halo were there. You have more technology at your disposal. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to reinvent the business model, whatever it is. You have the things. You can tweak it. Update Halo 3's multiplayer and have that as Infinite's multiplayer. Look at what works with Halo 3's multiplayer. Look at what doesn't. Tweak a little things. Look at what worked with Halo 1's campaign, what didn't work. Tweak some things. Put it together. Make the next-gen game. Make it, longer or whatever. Stop trying to chase after this live service model bullcrap that doesn't... How many live service model games actually work? You can argue Destiny... But no, Destiny, people say, even the people that like Destiny were like, Destiny 1, but Destiny 2 is kind of trash. It doesn't work. Live service games do not work. They just don't work. Stop it. Stop. Get some help. Contain yourselves. Stop it.
I I agree. Yeah, and the biggest thing too is like, I don't know. I feel like it could have worked a lot better if they would have done like a like. I'm completely fine with like DLC stuff, which I am sure they're still going to do, right? Um, after they've taken a whole journey of trying to fix the game, right? But I would be, it would be perfect if they would just release the campaign, release everything, traditionally, right? And then to make it different, add DLC, add these things. If you want to
Yeah.
continue to make the game, stand out and have a longer, shelf life, right? Like you want to add more content to it.
Yeah.
And you could still do that by adding it the traditional way, right? But making it into, I just feel like the Halo, it could, I know you probably get mad, but like it could work as a live service. It could work. It's just not, I just don't feel like they went the right way.
I don't know any live service that has worked. So I don't think I can't believe that it could work. It could be monetarily working, sure, fine. You get people to pump money into Destiny, fine. But that game is trash. That game is garbage. That game ass. I don't like that game. Okay, that game is a hot pile of booty.
That game was actually pretty good.
That game was horrifying. Do I need to go over some of the things I'd rather do? I'm sorry. I apologize. You asked me earlier why I am the way that I am. I understand why you are the way that you are. You put hours into Destiny. It just,
oh my gosh.
I can't. No live service game has worked as a way a game, in my opinion. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't should. There should be MMOs. There should be online like World of Warcraft is no. I don't like it, but I understand that it works. People like it. People fine. Go play. Have fun. C'est la vie. I don't care. There are games that work in this model financially, but they get boring after a while.
Exactly.
Like Halo has a campaign. Infinite has a campaign, right? It does end at some point, I'm assuming. Despite the name Infinite, it ends. There is a final moment. There is an end game to the campaign. So how is that going to last 10 years? Are you going to tell me that suddenly in, I don't know, a year and a half, they're going to be like, well, actually, what actually happened was, and like, it just, a story-driven game doesn't work as a live service model. It just, a story, if you're going to have a story, and Halo was known as one of those first-person shooters that was rich in story. If you're going to have a story game, you have to have an ending. Are you telling me that the game ends in a cliffhanger? Don't actually answer that. I don't want to know. But are you telling me the game ends in a cliffhanger and I got to wait some nebula amount of time before I can see what happens next? That doesn't work. Or is everything I do up to this point just going to not count in 3.5 years when Part 2 comes out, and we just find out that actually this guy hit his head on the ship and was sleeping, and this was all a dream. Now starts the real campaign. It doesn't work. Live service games, if you want to do like an online, like the multiplayer, if they want to be like, that's your live service, fine, do that.
I mean, I believe that that's their main focus is the multiplayer. But seeing how the game is like released in pieces, right? I now at this point I think the whole game is like everything is live service, right? Like, so that's why I was saying like I believe that they're probably going to go that route where they're gonna release like expansions or create it like a mini MMO or something like that, where it's like, okay, now you get a new story or like Halo stories, right? It's not necessarily look, I don't want to put it out there, but like not necessarily Master Chief, but like, I don't know, some other Spartans or your own Spartan or whatever. That's just what I feel like they're probably gonna go.
I mean, ODST worked. Dude. Like, ODST, you're not the Master Chief, you're not a Spartan. Yeah. It worked, I'm not gonna lie. That worked. I don't know. I don't, like, if you want to do that as a side story, maybe. But to me, that doesn't have enough legs to last 10 years. You mean to tell me I'm gonna buy the game for the Master Chief, play as him up until like a year from now, and then we're going to get the expansion to keep this 10-year live service going. We're going to get, now I'm playing as, Carl Bob Danny Frank, the random Marine that was just in the background, like polishing the Pelican hood, and it's like, my time to shine, baby. And it's like, he's the guy. Spartan now. Yeah, like, look at me, I am the Spartan now. Like, I don't know that works. So,
my God.
I love Halo Infinite.
Okay, think about it now. Where do you see this game in 10 years?
In the ground? Like, look, it's gotten 13,000. It's dropped to 13,000 from the height that it was. Yes, I understand completely the peaks are the peaks, right? If you look
Yeah.
at every game, it has a peak, but it settles at a core base. Like New World to me, which we're gonna touch on in next week's episode teaser. New World has a settled player base. It is still declining, but it's kind of settled around a little bit, and I think it's higher than Halo Infinite. Hey, just do the math. From the campaign's release, I say this again because it's mind-boggling. Almost 250,000 people, over 250,000 people were playing it,
Yeah.
and basically 250,000 people because the peak was 269, and now it's at 13. I think that's 19,000 over 250,000. So over 250,000 people at one point played Halo Infinite, and 250,000 people said no. At some point, got off the train.
I mean, if you think about it, the only time, honestly, that I've played Halo Infinite in the past month is when someone else is playing Halo.
Yeah,
Infinite. If they are, they
Mhm.
are. But me actively going in and playing on my own, maybe once, maybe twice. I just to kind of like maybe catch up on what they updated, maybe to look at what's new in the store that I'm not going to buy.
Yeah,
Stuff
yeah,
like that.
exactly. That you're not gonna buy. I'm trying to think. Because the multiplayer was the only thing that I've played, there has not been a time in the past since its release that I think I've played on my own. Once I organized a stream to play, and I just want to put a thing about the bugs. I love the Discord integration, but the mere fact that it breaks Discord sometimes, if you have a wireless set of headphones, it breaks your audio. You cannot hear Discord, and that's happened to several people. I joined
Yeah.
a stream, a partnered streamer friend of mine. He was playing Halo, streaming it for the first time. It broke everything. It broke his entire setup after the stream. So like, this game is optimization, and this wasn't like
Yeah,
This
optimization. That's the
wasn't
biggest thing.
November, by the way. This was January, I believe. So like, this wasn't that long ago. This was like
Yeah.
January or something like that, and it broke his whole. He had to rebuild his entire setup. So
Oh my god.
this thing is just. I love Halo. I'm a huge fan of Halo. I will always love Halo. I've read the books. I watched some of the movies and all this other stuff. But I can't support this release the way it is. Now I will get the co-op campaign when it comes out. That's when I haven't bought the game yet. I've not bought it because I have no purpose for it. So
Yeah,
when the
yeah.
co-op comes out, it's supposed to be maybe May. We'll see because the game keeps breaking because Big Team Battle was broken for a while. So we'll see.
Oh, for a while? What do you mean?
Is it still
It's
broke?
broken?
There you
Man,
go.
there's times where you just load into the game and there's like 4 people, and your whole party's still in the lobby.
Right. So maybe by May I'll be able to play the campaign. But I'm telling you right now, my prediction for the next peak, which will be its last peak, is 46,000. I think it'll peak at 46,000.
46.
Yeah, and then you'll get the people that'll co-op it and will finish it. I know I'm gonna finish it, but there are gonna be people that are gonna be turned off by it.
Yeah, I honestly think that's pretty high. Like 40,000. I feel like that's too high. Like I don't. Maybe. I mean, I know I'll be playing it co-op just
Yeah.
to experience it with everyone, right?
Yeah.
But I don't even know if it'll reach that. It probably will, maybe a little higher. Who knows? But you're right. It's just been so long. Like this is what happens with games that when you delay or you don't have something at the start, this happens.
Right.
Your decline just goes because you don't have any new content out there. There's nothing to keep you from playing, especially if you've already finished the battle pass, right?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do at that point? Like just like see what new bugs you can find, like at that point, right?
Pretty
Like-
much, yeah.
Like what are you doing at that point, right? So I don't know if it'll. I want it to. I really do. Like you said, I love Infinite. I really did love Infinite when it came out. Right now, not so much because now I'm starting to see everything how it is. I'm starting to see that it's not completed, right?
Yeah.
And I just want it to work, but I think we're kind of far from that. Maybe too far. Maybe we won't get there. I don't know.
So how sometimes in life you get knocked on your ass to learn a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I love Halo, I love Infinite, but I kind of don't want it to work because I think they need to be knocked on their ass. They need to learn their lesson. That no, this isn't how you do it. Like I think they need to. They're. I think somebody. I hope somebody's looking at this player base, and they're like, "Whoa, this is this is bad."
Yeah.
Because you are a AAA game that's got 13. I don't know what now. You go look. I'm sure Steam. Again, Steam is one thing, but it's still it's a microcosm of a larger issue. I feel like I'm sure if Xbox charts were out there, I'm sure they would show something similar. I highly doubt that on Xbox you still have 250,000 people playing or 100,000 people playing, and just suddenly on Steam there's only a 13,000 people playing. I don't think that's the case, but maybe I could be wrong. But I hope somebody's looking at this and saying, "Wow, this is bad," because we're losing the player base, which is the money base. So I hope that happens, and I hope that people people sort of make decisions going forward and are like, let's stop this whatever long arching because they released some convoluted ass roadmap. Like honestly, I love what happened in the Discord. I love everything that I've experienced with Halo, but I would have been happier had the whole game released in mass in May. Co-op, campaign, multiplayer.
You're right. I would have
all
definitely
of that.
loved it for it to
push it
to
back.
just come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all at once. But